All right, let's lift this up a little bit. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Say it a third time. What's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is, what's the date? The 17th of August, 2026. This is a video under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company, one of the 4 sides to us, where our slogan is allowing the body to work. So this video's title is How Socks Rotate the Lower Legs. Let's talk about this, okay? Why are we, who are we, what are we a clothing company for? In the Image Clothing Company, we're only a clothing company really because clothing, the literal word, is just the only thing physically placed on the human being. Our slogan, allowing the body to work, well, our whole company's focus, on our main side here at least, one of our fourths, is about the human body's functioning. So, the body, just this mechanical machine placed onto this rock in space we call Earth, truly only has one way it could ever work. I don't have any kind of new information or opinion with that, so let's find the truth together. Yeah. Measurable mathematical degrees of hinges, levers, and rotations determined by the shape and length of our bones that grow by themselves within this universal human design. There's only one way the human body could ever possibly physically mechanically operate. The bones grow by themselves, and they're just extremely specific in their shape and length, and then bones just mesh with a thin layer of cushioning between them called cartilage, so they don't wear each other out. Okay, they connect directly through ligaments, though. They have to mesh exactly how they're shaped on the ends, or else the bones don't mesh in the body. Muscles connect to bones, and all they do is pull. Opposing muscles to every function pull to stabilize us in a neutral position, just determined by the shape and length of the bones, is where the neutral position is in the body. There truly is, always has been, and always will be. We could say it like this: only one way the human body grows by itself in this universal human design, designed in the image of God, in the image of Jesus Christ. We're a clothing company. There you go. Allowing the body to work is our slogan. In the Image Clothing Company, our 5-word company name with no spaces between the 5 words. But also we could say it like this: there's only one way the human body could ever work. I mean it. There's no opinion to it. Possible. But what happens is we get into chronic patterning. There truly is no possible opinion to it that could ever matter, myself included. It just grows by itself. You can mathematically measure the shape and length of the bones, the motion until the bones physically hit into each other, and you'll never go any farther. Muscles only pull directly in line where they connect to bones through tendons, and they can never do anything else. Here's an airplane for you to listen to, okay? We'll continue forth once this airplane is not quite so noisy in the microphone of this little device that I'm using here to document this video. How close do you want to live to a flight school, huh? It's a question to ask before you move into a new place. It really is. Unless you want to deal with sounds like this, you maybe don't. Right? Day in and day out, bro. So many flights a day out of this flight school, so hey, you might think it's cool, but I'd say nay. For the sake of having a nice, quiet town, it's not cool, because town's not nice and quiet when the airplanes are flying. There's another one too I can hear. Oh, you might be able to see it, depending on how far over the camera lens is pointing in that direction. Man. The 17th of August, 2026. This video's title, under In the Image Clothing Company's main side. How socks rotate the lower legs. So the thing is, clothing, the literal wording of anything physically placed on the human being. Well, hats, glasses, jewelry, gloves, pants, socks, undergarments, shoes, anything placed onto the body at all, a bag over the shoulder. You're clothing the body the way that God clothes the fields with grass. Well, there's only one way the human body could ever work, and it deals with Earth's vertical gravity pull, Yep, and it comes down and meshes with the horizontal surface of the planet Earth. This vertical pull to gravity makes a 90-degree angle, okay, a perpendicular right angle. There's only one way all this happens. It's physics. Universal laws outside of all of us is what we abide by as human beings. We've got 2 feet, evenly opposing the center line of the human being, gripping arches, as it's called. Feet grip the ground, and then an arch structure comes from it, okay? But the feet grip arches inward, evenly opposing the center of Earth's vertical gravity pull, but also our body's center line. And this is how we stay vertical on Earth's vertical gravity pull, is our feet support us, okay? Our feet support the rest of the body. We've got the spine, the trachea, the nose, the sternum, the jaw. Things in the center line of the body, the jaw stabilizing the entire body with musculature up to the crown of the head, down to the upper ribs, and out to the edges of the shoulders, going through the collars of our tops. They need to stay centered and snug. In the Image Clothing Company, okay, left and right musculature goes through the collars of our tops, evenly opposing the center line of the human body. Okay, there's only one way the body could ever work. No possible opinion to it. They could matter, so don't listen to me. You can listen to me, but don't believe me. Truth is truth. It's outside of all of us. We don't get to decide or change truth as human beings. The body grows by itself, though, and what it does have, as one of the things, is rotations in the lower legs. Okay, so the lower legs, from the knee down to the foot, we could say from the foot up to the knee, there's 2 bones, a tibia and a fibula, okay, in the lower legs. And these bones roll over each other and have rotations like this. Internal rotation or external rotation. But there's always a neutral to everything in the body, with opposing muscles pulling us on either side of that neutral to stabilize us in the neutral. So anyway, you know, there's rotations in the lower legs, and the neutral's those pinky toes straight forward, just like the pinky fingers. Wow, let's do it like this. Okay. There's only one way the human body could ever work, truly. But the socks come up these bones in the lower legs. We've got 2 bones, a tibia and a fibula. And we need to stay neutral. We've got different length 5 toes within this universal human design. It's windy. Just don't know how loud it is in the microphone. We roll evenly off the end of all 5 different length toes within the universal human design to share the weight. As we do this, the pinky toes point straight forward. Because the toes come up and into the center line of the body forward like an arrow, you know, the big toes being the longest on the inside of the feet, the pinky toes being the shortest on the outside of the feet. Yeah, so there's only one way the human body could ever work, and if we bring sock material up our lower leg, any height of sock though, it's going to be affecting the lower leg's rotations if the sock isn't just straight with the legs, bones, vertical, on Earth's vertical gravity pull. Another airplane is flying overhead of me here now on the 17th of August 2026 under In the Image Clothing Company's main site here. This video's title, even through the wind noise, because it's just about the date marked documentation more than anything else really, and you can get the information from this. I am certain of that. Wow. How socks can rotate the lower legs. Well, we don't want them to. We want the body to reside in its neutral positions. Okay? And at the legs, you know, the rotations can be really affected by the socks. But how does this happen? How do our socks start to rotate? Well, it's not only just if you put your socks on and as you pull your socks up, you just rotate one on accident as you're just pulling it up your leg, and the other one maybe is straight. Right? Let's say you rotate your right sock up and out externally like this when you put it on. Now you'll go through the rest of your day and your body is just rotated like that, you know. Rotations from the sock rotate the lower leg supporting every part of the body traveling up from there on Earth's vertical gravity pull. But there's always a center to the body. There's always a center to Earth's vertical gravity pull. And just when it comes to physics and mathematics and motion, if there's motion on one direction and the other side as well, there's got to be a center or a neutral between the two sides of motion. A mechanical machine, the human being, it's all it is. It's windy. I understand. I'm trying to block out the wind noise, but you know, it is what it is. How socks can rotate the lower legs. This might be a loud video. I might take a trip to Kansas. The wind starts blowing so hard that I fly away. Yeah. Crazy! I mean, what's up, bro? Wow. Y'all still with me? Still alive? Did you make it through the perilous journey? It's just pretty windy, man. Yeah, I've got some things to say if the wind would calm down a little bit, so it wasn't so loud on the microphone. I don't know how loud it actually is until I listen to this back, but I know that it can get loud like that. Oh my goodness. I keep the full video, and you just watch me deal with what I deal with, so you know it's as real as it could get when it gets as real as this. It's life-changing information. I'm just trying to document it. To do that, to change lives. That's why I'm doing this. That's the reason. I don't know if you thought I had some kind of hidden motive, but I don't. Just notice the reason I'm doing the things that I'm doing, even when the wind keeps blowing. Alright, you ready for this? th of August, 2026. This video's title, under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here, how the socks can rotate the lower legs. It's not just if you put your socks on and twist them as you do, okay? But we can have things like this. Imbalances in clothing that get us into chronic patterning. Well, the socks rotating is one of them. You rotate your socks around your lower legs, and you rotate your lower legs, okay? And that travels up and through the rest of the body. But things like rotated seams in clothing, with robots stitching our clothing in modern 2026. Here's the wind again. Oh my gosh. The information's here. And that's the point. If we've got rotated seams in our pant cuffs, as our pant cuffs are down on our socks, what happens is, you know, the seams coming down pants can come down and then twist or rotate and then get stitched in one direction or the other at the bottom of the pant cuff. And now that's sitting on our sock, and as we walk, just the motion of our legs moving, the pant cuff hits against the sock, and the rotation in the seams of the pant cuff rotate the sock. And then now if we rotate the sock around our two lower leg bones, the tibia and the fibula, it rotates the two lower leg bones. Okay, look at my socks. Look how they're nice and even. Just with the leg bones. You just follow the leg bones and you keep the stitching of the socks just in line with the leg bones. Right? In the Image Clothing Company shoelace technique, the only way the top of the feet are shaped. Yeah. Anyway, so socks, you know, they can rotate from you putting them on, twisting them, and not being intentional, just keep them in line with the lower leg bones. Because we've got to understand, socks are just material. You know, ideally clothing's made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials because the body is only what we eat that comes from the earth, right? Natural things. Before human beings could make things unnatural. Please don't do that any more than is actually necessary. But here's the thing, okay? Another one of the things. On the 17th of August, 2026, today's date, under this video's title, How Socks Can Rotate the Lower Legs, in the Image Clothing Company's main site here. This is the point. It's just material, you know? There's just stitching and weaving of fabric that creates what we call a sock. And so if you rotate the sock, you'll rotate your two lower leg bones. You know, there's rotations in the forearm, internal versus external, in two bones, the radius and ulna. It's the same thing basically as the lower legs. Like I'm saying, the tibia and fibula, rotate. But they've got to start neutral to be able to rotate to both sides evenly, internal or external. So the socks, you know, I mean, this is a physical body. Clothing, the literal word of clothing, the body with anything is just something physically placed on the physical body. So socks are physically surrounding the physical lower leg function. Okay. How socks can rotate the lower legs? This video's title, on the 17th of August, 2026, under In the Image Clothing Company's main side here. Okay, there's only one way the human body could ever work, no possible opinion to it, but if we place things onto the lower legs, we call socks, and they're rotating, it's going to rotate the lower legs. Okay, you don't want to rotate your body by something else external to it, you know, placed onto it. The body has to be able to rotate by itself. It has to start in a neutral position to have both sides from the neutral. How socks can rotate the lower legs? Well, if they're rotating around the lower legs. Okay, rotated seams and pant cuffs, just putting socks on and rotating them as you do it. But also, let's say you tie your shoes unevenly, you know. What did I say earlier? I remember, do you? It's a refresher course. Of course, I'll refresh you. Sure, I'll say the thing again. In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. You know, found wherever you can find our 5-word company name, no spaces between the 5 words, In the Image Clothing Company. Yeah, you're just weaving a rope across the top of the human feet's bones, ligaments, tendons, and muscles that make up these gripped arches, different length 5 toes, and all the functioning, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, internal, external rotation, pronation, and supination, and a tripod of arches in the bottom of the feet, and all the functioning traveling up through the ankle joint to these two lower leg bones, the tibia and fibula, that have both internal or external rotations. You know, you got to tie ropes on your body the only way your body's going to work. If we're just going to tie ropes on our body, right? Yeah, you could call them shoelaces. They're just ropes. You could call it a drawstring. It's just a rope, okay? There's only one way the human body could ever work. Again, I could say it like this. There's only one way the human being's bones grow by themselves to just be what they are. And not only that, but the ligaments, tendons, muscles, and the organs and all the functioning of the human being, You know, the wind, it just blows how it does. And so sometimes you just got to kind of deal with the surrounding sounds a little bit like this. Wow, what an unconventional video, depending on who you ask. Anyway, is that enough? Are we good? If you tie your shoes unevenly or lace your shoes imbalanced from left to right, your socks can just start to rotate around your lower leg bones because your foot's just working in a different position than neutral. If the rope around the foot and ankle is not allowing it to work neutral, and then the sock rotating will cause the lower leg bones to rotate, and then that just deepens the problem. It's probably enough, right? Just be intentional. Thank you, okay? There's 3 other sides to In The Image Clothing Company. This is not how our videos usually are as far as the surrounding sounds and stuff. Quite this much is, you know, it's not ideal to have this much wind going on when you're trying to document audio like this with the microphone that I'm currently using at least. In the Image Clothing Company Poodles, In the Image Clothing Company podcast with discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're on episode 215 as of today's date, the 17th of August, 2026. We've also got In the Image Clothing Company music, where we do a lot of lyricism, rhythm and poetry, spoken words, singing, guitar playing, music geared around the gospel of Jesus Christ as well. Well, here's the thing, you don't have to be the slightest bit religious, but we're all human beings, the same thing placed on the same earth, designed by the same God. It is what it is before you can understand what it is. There's a universal human design. The state of Utah, the United States of America, specifically St. George, Utah. Check us out, In the Image Clothing Company. We give a lot of free modifications and universal clothing and balances shipped across the entire earth, because that's how we get into chronic patterning, which is really what we do here under In the Image Clothing Company's main site, is rid the patterning that gets created in the body. I mentioned rotated seams, collar seams, pocket zippers, buttons. Oversized clothing is an imbalance in itself, okay? Gravity has the same effect on our clothing that it has on our bodies. Anyway, we talk about where clothing sits very clearly on this universal human design under In the Image Clothing Company's main site here, and wherever you can find our 5-word company name, In the Image Clothing Company. No spaces between the 5 words. You know, with information like this, you can find it wherever you can find it. Just look it up, dude. We live in an informational age currently, 2026. Today's the 17th of August, so don't rotate your lower legs with your socks, kids. Wow. How socks can rotate the lower legs. Anyway, the importance of the proper height socks, the importance of the proper height shoes. You know, we got to have things in the proper locations for the body. Okay, right? Above the ankle joint, but below the calf muscle. Somewhere in this area. Proper height sock. Proper height shoes, a similar kind of thing, but we discuss these things under In the Image Clothing Company. We'll always have good clothing available to allow the body to work. Staying centered, fitting correct, being made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials. Those are the baseline things clothing needs to be. Simple, minimal, light, brandless on the exterior clothing. Okay, In the Image Clothing Company clothing when it's available. But here's the other thing is don't give up. Keep on pushing, brother. If I were to be giving up, then I wouldn't have documented this information today like this, because it's just windy. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do, dude. And a lot of times it's just about doing it, you know. Don't try to make it perfect. Just try to make sure you do all you can. If you don't do all you can, you didn't do all you could. I mean it, okay? We're coming up on 2 years of In the Image Clothing Company since the founding date, which was the 23rd of September 2024. But yeah, today's the 17th of August 2026. Thank you for a third time. Be careful. I mean, truly, be intentional with your socks. You know, there's a lot of things like this, little tiny things, you know, depending on who you ask and depending on your understanding of what's going on and what's important and why. You know, something like this, people are like, well, it doesn't really matter if your socks are rotating. Well, even just walking and you accidentally kick your other leg's sock with your foot and you just rotate it, You go through the rest of the day like that, now you're going to be having your lower leg be twisted because you rotated your sock just on accident. Like maybe you're playing sports and you just move quick and you brush your left foot against your right sock and it rotates it, or you brush your right foot against your left sock and it rotates it. Well, yeah, now you're going to have the bones in your lower legs be pulled on by the sock that's surrounding them, okay? But there's always that neutral position. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot more that I could say with this, but this video is just so unexpected to me personally because, nah, it's great. I mean, it is what it is, but, right. I'll be doing this for the rest of my entire lifetime. Like I say, my name is Evan Strong, the founder, but leader for life of In the Image Clothing Company. Anything at the bottom of the body, you know, is going to affect everything above it because of Earth's vertical gravity pull. Mostly, like that's the biggest reason for that, really. And the socks are on the feet, the ankles, and then up the lower legs. And so this is the foundation and the support for the rest of the entire body. And so you'll have shoulders having problems, the spine having problems, you know, and the hips having problems, the knees having problems. The jaw does stabilize the entire body. The jaw eats and speaks, breathes, and then like I just said, it stabilizes the whole human being because of how it connects to the shoulders and the ribs with that jaw musculature. And it's just in the central line of the body, right? So the point is, you know, you don't have to believe it, but it's just the truth. It's mechanics. It's mechanical operations of the body's hinges, levers, and rotations. Rotated socks around the lower leg bones, or just socks at the improper height, just cutting right into the ankle joint, for example, like ankle socks that are just right between where bones meet, and things like this in socks. Socks too high on the calf muscle, you know, the muscle on the rear of the lower leg that comes about halfway down the lower leg bones on the rear of the leg there. Things like this in socks will affect everything. I mean, even to the jaw. You'll have an imbalanced jaw if your socks are changing how your legs work, you know, and then everything through your whole body, just the way you breathe and everything. I mean, we talk about the whole body, you know, in depth. We discuss the anatomy of the human body here under In the Image Clothing Company, and so you know, don't question our credibility once you realize we're credible. But it's good to question things. That's how you find out what they really are. I mean it. So thank you for sticking through this video if you did, because this is life-changing information, as I said, you know, toward the start of this video. So if you got through this with the surrounding sounds and with me being, you know, silly through it, which is fun, but, you know, authentic, bro. I mean, this is just me reacting to the noise and the wind and the stuff around, but also just the fact that this stuff happens. It just happens, you know? It's as if you're actually here with us. And so, in-person events. Things for the dogs on In the Image Clothing Company poodles. Things for the environment. Things to teach people about their bodies and how to allow them to work. We just discussed this modern man-made world placed onto God's natural earth. And just navigating this existence we have that human beings have never had to deal with, you know, never could have possibly had to deal with before the inventions of all the new things we have. And the body's still what it's always been. It grows by itself, and it's only what it is. Universal human design, but if you're different, you can only be different from something, you know, and you can. Let's say you got an amputated leg. You don't even have one sock, you know, on one side and one sock on the other side of your body, but you only have one leg to have a sock on. It's just, we've got to keep the body balanced. We've got to keep the body even. Socks at the same height, socks not rotating, socks at the proper height, socks with natural materials being the goal. These are not, okay? We just need to be intentional and do what we can, and these are just what I have access to right now, but yeah, it is what it is, right? I actually really love this video. All right. I'll pick that up. That is my garbage. I put it there. Anyway, thank you, okay? Yeah, things for the environment. In the Image Clothing Company. Check out what we do. We only do what we do. We only are who you are, and so we're only a clothing company to allow the body to work, okay? Don't let your socks rotate your lower legs.